The Alabama Farmers Federation and the Alabama Farmers Cooperative proudly present Simply Southern with your hosts Jim Allen and Mary Johnson.
Hello and welcome to Simply Southern. I'm Mary Johnson.
And I'm Jim Allen. Coming up on today's show, we're headed to what may very well be the most unusual farm in Alabama. It's complete with an 18-hole golf course, but their focus remains on agriculture.
I'm trying to always look at other ways that you can use a piece of property, but the real backbone of Pursell Farms has always been in agriculture.
We've talked about the FFA student organization several times on this show. This week, Samantha Carpenter takes us to what organizers call the state playoffs for these ag students.
You know, the FFA, it takes students and it gives them a direction for their life.
Plus, Sidney Phelps of Bonnie Plants has a healthy new twist on an old Southern favorite, fried okra.
There are plenty of hunting shows on Alabama TV and online, but one of the more oddball stories you're likely to see is coming up when Simply Southern continues.
The birds get what they catch. They eat what they catch. The more they catch, the more they eat.
What we eat, what we wear. It all starts somewhere. And if it's good, it usually starts with a farmer. And that somewhere is right here in Alabama. In a field, in a barn, on a tractor. Right now, there's a farmer starting something good for all of us. And it all starts right here in Alabama.
There's no such thing as downtime when you own a farm. This is your land. You tend it and try to get the most from it, no matter the weather or time of day. It's been that way for generations. And for generations, your local quality co-op store has been there for you, with a full range of agriculture supplies and services, from feed to fertilizer, seed to grain storage, and the right hardware for any application. You'll always find what you need, plus friendly, knowledgeable advice at your local quality co-op store. There's one near you.
When deer season rolls around, Wilcox County is a popular destination for hunters in Alabama. It's also been known to attract a few bird hunters too. And folks, when I say bird hunters, I mean that quite literally. You know what'll make you appreciate all those wildlife programs you watched growing up? Trying to film a fast-moving brown bird in the woods hunting squirrels. Just look what it did to our poor cameraman. Falconry probably summons up images of bygone nobility on horseback, their winged hunting companions proudly perched on their rich leather glove. That's usually how it shows up in the movies anyway, and for much of its history, hunting with predatory birds has been a sport of wealth and prestige. But this isn't 17th century Europe. This is Alabama, and we tend to be a little less fancy.
Come on, birds, up! We're the squirrel dogs, yep. We pull vines, knock on the trees, anything we can do to get the squirrel moving and keep them in the tree.
Welcome to the annual meet of the Alabama Hawking Association, a group of guys and gals who are spreading the passion for this ancient art throughout the state. Today, they've joined up with the North American Falconers Association for a good old southern squirrel hunt, a bit of a novelty for bird enthusiasts hailing from around the country.
This is the first time we've done anything with NAFA. It's their Southeastern Regional Meet is what's going on with ours today. So we bundled them together this year. They hadn't done squirrel hawking for one of their meets in a while, or at all. I'm not even sure if they've done one at all.
Despite the name, the sport of falconry is not limited to just falcons, though they have been known to make an appearance. Eagles, hawks, and even owls are commonly used to hunt a wide variety of game, from rabbits and squirrels to even foxes and wolves. But at today's meet, the familiar red-tailed hawk seems to be the favorite.
Everyday squirrel hunting like this, I like the red tail. The red tails are usually quick. You know, let's get in there, get it, and get done. Get in there, get it, get done.
This is Wilson. Say something, Wilson. Hello. These aren't duck dogs. In the world of falconry, hunting is for the birds. After being released, a hawk seeks out its prey as if there weren't a group of happy maniacs shouting and banging on trees down below.
We do that to try more to keep the squirrels moving than to get, if the bird's not paying attention to us and we start yelling, a lot of times they'll come in and they'll start, oh, hey, something's going on over there. Let me go see what's going on. The birds fly with bells, so you can hear where they are. You want to be able to find her in the trees. Once she lands in those trees, you would be surprised how well they blend in. The birds get what they catch. They eat what they catch. The more they catch, the more they eat.
Becoming a falconer requires a short apprenticeship and a small licensing fee. There is, of course, the small matter of getting yourself a bird, but that's not necessarily as difficult as it sounds.
Basically, you have a little cage, probably about this big and about that tall, and it's got slip knots on top. You take that out, you drive around until you see a bird you want. You put a rat or a mouse inside the cage and you throw it out the window. And the bird comes down to catch the rat and gets hung up in the slip knots, and you just run over and pick them up, in theory.
After trapping a bird, training a new hunting companion to perform simple tasks like sitting on a glove, on up to returning to its owner after the hunt, is all a matter of time and food rewards. With enough work, a bird can be ready to head out into the woods faster than you'd think.
It'll take about 10 days to have them out free flying from the day you trap them. Some people go a month, maybe 2 months if they're not sure or they don't trust themselves or the bird.
While I don't think I'm ready to go cage myself an angry hawk, I have to admit, falconry is pretty fun. These folks' love for their birds is obvious, and there's something about running through the woods screaming at squirrels that just brings people together.
There's some people that just like hanging out with the birds. They like being in the woods. They do it more for the nature aspect. You know, they just want to be outside. But for me, it's mostly the chase and the catch, if we get lucky enough. There's a lot of camaraderie with this. You know, we're a tight group of people. A lot of us will travel just to hang out with the people that we met through this sport, because we're a pretty rare breed, you know.
More than 100 falconers and around 53 birds participated in the annual winter meet. I'm pretty sure the squirrel population of Wilcox County was happy to see them leave. To learn more, visit AlabamaHawkingAssociation.com.
Now, we saw a lot of red-tailed hawks in there, which are kind of common in Alabama, but there were some other breeds of hawks in there. What were those?
The red-tail was fun to watch, but they also had several Harris hawks.
Okay.
And they hunt in packs like dogs, and they're from the desert Midwest, and they'll stand on a high perch and stand on each other's shoulders as many as 6 high to get a good vantage point.
Oh my goodness. It's like hunting with 3 stooges of birds.
That's right, that's right.
Now, thousands of Blue Jackets descend on Montgomery every summer for a week of competition, networking, and fun. Up next on Simply Southern, we'll visit this year's FFA State Convention.
How do you show love? With the big things? The little things? The tough things? Your everything. Show them you care. Alpha Insurance.
Support healthy food from local farmers by purchasing a Farming Feeds Alabama license plate. The tag funds education and promotion efforts, including Ag in the Classroom, agricultural scholarships, and youth programs. Get your Ag tag today.
For 100 years, every Bonnie plant has started with 2 hands and a mission: to put fresh, homegrown herbs and vegetables on every table in America.
Who are you talking to?
The plants, they like it. Success starts and ends with Bonnie plants.
Alabama soybean farmers help fuel the state's economy. Soybeans are used to make clean, renewable biodiesel and are a key ingredient in feed for poultry, catfish, and livestock. Soybeans are used in dozens of products we use every day. But best of all, soybean farmers generate $258 million and more than 4,000 jobs for Alabama's economy, all while helping conserve our natural resources. Explore the power of soy.
Since 1928, FFA has been at the forefront of agricultural education and leadership development in America. Former President Jimmy Carter, country music sensation Taylor Swift, football and baseball star Bo Jackson, and even the illustrator of the Garfield comic strip Jim Davis have all sported that iconic blue and gold logo on their jackets at some point. This year, FFA held its 89th annual state convention in Montgomery, a culmination of a lot of hard work for some very promising young minds. Our Samantha Carpenter was there.
When the summer heat begins to climb in Alabama, that's when the jackets come out in our state's capital every year.
This is the 89th Annual Alabama FFA State Convention. We've got about 2,000 kids that'll descend upon Montgomery this week to be presented awards or have competed in contests.
State Convention Week is an exciting time for these students, filled with fun activities and a chance to catch up with fellow members from all over the state.
It's awesome. This week, you have people from all over the state, as far north as the Tennessee Valley and all the way down to Foley. People are coming from all over and getting involved in the FFA. People are meeting up with friends they've met at conferences. They've competed with the same people.
A sea of corduroy blue fills the seats at the Montgomery Performing Arts Center for the 3-day conference, representing some of the best and brightest from our nation's #1 youth leadership organization. But this isn't a week of podiums and PowerPoint. There's music, games, silly skits, and a lot of fired up teens.
There's just this unique energy about State Convention that you can't find anywhere else. There's hype music, people are getting involved, meeting new friends, and they're really transforming FFA.
You can see why these students look forward to the State Convention every year, but all of this is the payoff to a lot of hard work.
This is the state playoffs for agricultural students in Alabama. This is where you get to showcase your chapter. The students work day in, day out, studying written tests, studying information, current agricultural issues.
Competition is also a big part of Convention Week. Some of FFA's most reliable educational tools are their career development events, which reflect the agricultural foundation of the organization.
This is our state livestock judging contest. We'll evaluate beef, sheep, swine. We have a written exam. We also have reasons that they will have to defend their placings in each one of the species.
These students have excelled at their local, county, and district level for this chance to showcase what they've learned here at state. These competitions not only teach teamwork and responsibility, in some cases they can even result in college scholarship opportunities. But while many of these contests have a direct relationship to agriculture, there's just about something in FFA for everyone. A notable example being the string band contests.
In 1965, the FFA merged with the NFA, which is the New Farmers of America. And with that merger came 2 contests from the NFA, the string band contest and the quartet contest. Those are 2 of our most hard-fought contests, and the kids really enjoy that. We've had string bands go on to sign recording contracts and play on tour with big names, and it's another step to showcase what those kids can do.
Nashville songwriter and musician Bobby Tomberlin is in his 3rd year hosting the competition and knows firsthand how important these contests can be.
I remember when I was in FFA and we were preparing for the string band competition, we rehearsed every day. We would rehearse at nighttime, and it was just such an amazing feeling to actually make it to state and to be here with, students from all over the state of Alabama. If it wasn't for FFA, I don't know that I would have chased my dreams and went to Nashville.
Whether their interests lie in strings, speaking, or tilling the soil, the goal of FFA is to develop our nation's future leaders. The state convention may sometimes resemble a blue and gold pep rally, but all of that passion is building towards a brighter tomorrow.
Being an ag teacher myself, I've watched students from the 7th grade that never heard or had participated in anything agriculture, and to become a part of their life for a teacher is the huge reward, and then to get to showcase that student at the state convention is the culmination of everybody's work.
I'm very passionate about agriculture and about animals, so I definitely want to go into veterinary science, hopefully research, doing clinical trials, maybe teaching out of college one day. The FFA, it takes students and it gives them a direction for their life.
For Simply Southern, I'm Samantha Carpenter.
Samantha has brought us several stories involving FFA programs, and it really is amazing the passion these young people have for the organization. Find out more about FFA online at ffa.org.
They are some of the most polite young people you'll ever meet in your life.
Yes, if you're ever down there during state convention, you know that it's FFA convention, not just because of the corduroy jackets, but because of how polite those teenagers are. You don't see that every day.
I really enjoy being around them.
Mm-hmm.
When Simply Southern continues, growing fresh vegetables, managing the cattle, and, 18 holes of golf. Just an ordinary day at Pursell Farms. We'll visit when Simply Southern continues.
1 out of 4 Alabama residents have benefited from the Alabama Cooperative Extension System. Last year, Master Gardener Managed Gardens donated $150,000 worth of fruits and vegetables to food banks, and over 25,000 young people developed math, science, technology, and engineering skills through 4-H. Now what we want to know is, how can we help you?
Support healthy food from local farmers by purchasing a Farming Feeds Alabama license plate. The tag funds education and promotion efforts, including Ag in the Classroom, agricultural scholarships, and youth programs. Get your Ag tag today.
Alabama wheat and feed grain farmers grow food, fuel, and freedom. Their harvest helps feed Alabama's multi-million-dollar livestock, catfish, and poultry industries while reducing America's dependence on foreign countries for energy and food. By combining their strength with farmers of other commodities, feed grain growers are fueling the economic growth of Alabama communities.
Nothing brings the family together like U.S. farm-raised catfish. American catfish farmers are dedicated to producing a premium, healthy catfish with a consistently mild, sweet flavor. Because we take as much pride in our work as you do in your cooking. From our family farms to your family's table, you can be sure you're getting the highest quality fish. Because your family deserves the best. U.S. farm-raised catfish.
Pursell Farms near Sylacauga was started in the mid-70s primarily as a timber and cattle operation. But some 40 years later, the operation has changed dramatically. As Kevin Worthington tells us, the Pursell family is transforming the property into a world-class resort. But they haven't forgotten their agricultural roots.
There aren't many farms where you can stay in an elegant lodge or cabin or book a tee time on a championship golf course. But Pursell Farms is one where you can. Oddly enough, this all started as a way to sell fertilizer.
We had a family fertilizer business called Pursell Industries at the time, and we had some controlled release fertilizers that would have application for golf course superintendents, among other people, that we had developed. And so the idea I had was to take this beautiful piece of land and to transform it into perhaps a marketing strategy for this family fertilizer business that we had.
David's marketing strategy was to build an 18-hole championship golf course and to treat each hole differently to demonstrate the Pursell Industries products. He says his dad was less than enthusiastic about the idea, initially.
You know, he just thought I was crazy or something. But the more I talked about it, the more he liked it, because he's a natural-born salesman, and he knows that if you can get people in an undistracted environment, then you can build a relationship with somebody that's pretty deep.
Over a span of about 10 years, the Purcells hosted more than 10,000 golf course superintendents from all 50 states. And they came from the country's top courses like Pebble Beach, Brookline, and Augusta National, the home of the Masters.
These were iconic places, I mean, where golf's history was made, and they would be coming to Pursell Farms.
But as time marches on, things change. In 2006, the Purcells sold the fertilizer business, but kept the farm, including the golf course. Their mission has changed from selling fertilizer to selling relaxation.
We've got a total of 41 guest suites now. We're adding 40 more, so we're doubling in size. Adding a new luxury restaurant, kind of a sports pub, a lot of meeting space. We've opened a spa and added the Orvis shooting grounds, which we're real excited about.
But even though their focus has shifted, David says agriculture remains at the heart of their operation.
My grandfather owned part of this property at one time, and he would either have cows, or he would grow cotton or soybeans or some other crop. I'm a lot different now. You know, I'm trying to always look at other ways that you can use a piece of property. But the real backbone of Pursell Farms has always been in agriculture.
Their agricultural operation is diversified to supply many of the items on the menu of their on-site restaurant.
I run this garden, which is about 4 acres, and then we have 83 pigs that we use the meat as much as we can. We also have some Black Angus steers that we slaughter, and then we have about 70 laying hens. We use their eggs on the menu.
In a little over 100 years, David is the 4th generation to run this operation, and he says family is one of the primary reasons it's been as successful as it has.
If somebody comes here, I can almost guarantee that they're going to come in contact with a Pursell family member. It would be maybe in a much smaller way, like being able to go to Disney World and, oh, by the way, you get to spend some time with Walt Disney. Well, that actually happens here, and that's a real point of difference in Pursell Farms and other places that you go.
For Simply Southern, I'm Kevin Worthington.
Mary, in addition to all the other cool stuff that's there, they're building a 40-room country estate inn for people to stay there in luxury.
That sounds amazing, because growing up on the farm, weekends meant a lot of work, but a weekend at this farm sounds like a lot of fun.
It's a pretty place.
When Simply Southern continues, Sidney Phelps of Bonnie Plants is in the kitchen this week with okra fresh from the garden and a healthy new way to prepare it.
What sustains us? Food? Family? Faith. Alabama farmers live those things every day. They conserve our resources, clothe our families, and fill our tables. They cultivate jobs for our communities and values for our future. Farmers grow it all right here in Alabama.
There's nothing quite like sitting down to a home-cooked meal with fresh vegetables from the garden. With Bonnie Plants from your local quality co-op store, you can enjoy the freshest vegetables right from your own backyard. And no matter if you're a raised bed gardener, a rose gardener, or if you farm hundreds of acres, your quality co-op store has exactly what you need to get the most out of your plants. You'll always find what you need, plus friendly, knowledgeable advice at your local quality co-op store. There's one near you.
For 100 years, every Bonnie plant has started with 2 hands and a mission: to put fresh, homegrown herbs and vegetables on every table in America.
Who are you talking to?
The plants, they like it. Success starts and ends with Bonnie Plants.
Hey folks, Sidney Phelps here with Bonnie Plants. Today I want to talk to you about one of my favorite summertime dishes next to sweet corn, and that is fresh okra. So okra is one of those things that a lot of people use in several different ways. They pickle it, they use it as boiled okra, which generally when you use boiled okra you get that slimy feel. You know, it's great when you first get that first fresh okra, but that's not one of my favorites. And of course, probably everybody's favorite is fried okra. You can't get any better than that. Some folks make it a little bit better and a little bit more healthier by throwing it in the oven and baking it. But today I want to show you a trick on fried okra that is done in a saute pan. So I've got my pan preheated here, and I've already chopped up some okra, so I'm gonna get this started. So I'm basically just gonna throw this into the pan, and what I've got here is about probably 4 tablespoons of olive oil. So we're gonna just blend that in there. That's gonna give it that frying effect from the healthy standpoint. And we're gonna add a little bit of black pepper and a little bit of salt just to taste. So while that's going, I'm basically gonna show you how you get to this point. Let me stir this in real quick. All right, so when you're working with this kind of okra, you basically wanna just take, the smaller the okra, the more tender it's gonna be. So we don't wanna use the heads in this case, so we're gonna chop those right off, and we don't need the tips. So take those off. Level it up, and you wanna make thin pieces. So we're just gonna chop it really thin here. And what this is gonna do is, as it cooks and builds up heat, it's gonna start breaking down. So you're gonna get that consistency very similar to what you're used to with the boiled okra, and that slime, so to speak, is gonna start coming out of it and into the pan. But you'll take a spatula and you start working it in, and it's gonna become more of a chipped okra. But got a little bit different texture than what you're used to. So take these heads off here, work through that.
And it's really simple. You don't need to stir it a lot. You want to let it get the heat built up, and then you can work through that. And the flavor from it is just unreal. Like I said, this time of year, you're harvesting fresh tomatoes, you're harvesting fresh okra, corn, squash, zucchinis. There's nothing better than when you get it right out of the garden. And okra by far is one of my favorites, like I said. So we've got all of our okra chopped. I'm gonna add a little bit more salt to that fresh, as well as pepper. And then we're just gonna start working it in. So you can see some of it starting to brown. And you can cover this, you can leave it uncovered. I like to leave it open and just start working with it. As you start working the okra in, it's gonna cook down. You take your spatula and start chipping away at it. And as you chip it away, we'll show you here in just a few seconds what that looks like. Now, once you get everything broken down, you can see how well it's browned. You can just take it straight to a plate or a bowl, however you want to serve it at home. And that, my friends, is a little bit of healthier style fried okra with olive oil and everything like that. If you want to find recipes like this, go to bonnieplants.com or check out our app, Homegrown with Bonnie Plants.
If you have a gardening question, drop Sidney an email at simplysouthern@alafarm.com and he may answer it on an upcoming show. Of course, you can always visit bonnieplants.com for new ideas and additional information.
That's our show for this week. We appreciate you watching. I hope you'll plan to be back with us again next week when we'll find out about a new breed of cattle that was developed by a well-known country music star from our state.
We'll also visit an Alabama company that's using Alabama products to create Alabama spirits. But before we go, here are links to some of the stories we featured today. I'm Mary Johnson.
And I'm Jim Allen. We'll see you again next week.
Simply Southern is a production of the Alabama Farmers Cooperative and the Alabama Farmers Federation.